Hey guys, I just thought I'd call. I don't know if you know this. I'm a big fan of the show. So, I did a little movie called Any Given Sunday. And ever since, been a huge sports fan. And I love what you guys do. So, just wanted to let you know, I think you guys have been doing kind of a shit job lately. And, you gotta understand, podcasting is a game of inches. Now the inches you need are all around you. You need to look to the man next to you. I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. Who will fight for that inch. Who will tear themselves apart for that inch. Because they know when they add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. But no, I mean, seriously, it's not that serious. I mean, it's just podcasting. But, that being said, Kevin, maybe you can stop ranting on about nonsense so much. And, Taylor, stop saying everything's so goddamn amazing. CJ, quit with the pro wrestling stuff in the quickfire segment. And for the love of God, can we get more Andrew?
The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of June 24th, 2019. My name is Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
Riding on my horse, doing in the morse. See me doing the... I can't get that song out of my head.
Hi, CJ.
How's it going?
Take me down to the old town road. I'm gonna eat some rocky road. I don't know the rest.
Let me tell you, I made it a really long time by today's standards not hearing any of that song, right? I knew it was out there. I knew people were going crazy over it, and I knew that it was like a mega pop culture moment, and all this shit. I made it so long without hearing a single second of that song.
Well, they did a video today where different rappers did it how they would do it.
Well, I heard it eventually, and I only heard the hook. Like, I heard the chorus. I didn't hear the whole song. I was just like walking by somebody who was playing it, and that 10 seconds like affected me 2 days later.
Changed your life.
Like, I just kept that part, the chorus just kept playing in my head, and it was driving me crazy. And I haven't tried to listen to the song. I really have no interest in it. But I did see that Billy Ray Cyrus performed at the BET Awards this week, and that's what a time to be alive.
And they rode in on horses.
All the Lils were there, I heard. Like the Lil Nas X.
What a time to be alive.
CEO.
Yeah.
Lil Fuzzy Wop.
Little Pimp, Little Xan, Little Peep.
Little Perp. Whatever.
Why does everybody want to be so little?
I don't know. Maybe they are all kind of little. Like, you don't see many like big whoever.
This
is a
Seinfeld joke.
Big boy.
That's true.
They all want to be little, but they all want to be big. I don't understand. They want to be big, but they want to be little. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
So we're going to really explore the whole might be side of this show over the next few weeks because right now it's just baseball. And I'm got to be honest with you.
Gotta love it.
I'm into baseball, but this is too early for me to be into baseball. Like, and it would be totally different if the Phillies were what a lot of people thought they were going to be when they landed Bryce Harper, and they're just like, oh my God, this is it. And it started out kind of like that. Like the first, 10 games were very, very entertaining and high octane. And over the past few weeks, things have just been kind of falling apart. Andrew McCutchen got hurt, which is a big deal. I don't think anybody was quite expecting Andrew McCutchen to be the impact player that he was for the Phillies this year. But I just haven't gotten into it yet. And I got to be honest, them sucking ass is really preventing me from jumping in right now. Just,
Well,
ugh.
we have Women's World Cup.
I've been trying to watch that, but that shit starts at like noon during the week.
I've got a couple in.
We got jobs.
Right. Like how can I watch the American women's team play Spain when it starts at noon on a Monday?
It started at 1 o'clock.
Whatever.
Be real here.
Improper planning.
Come on.
Horrible planning.
They play 3 o'clock on Friday.
And they don't play replays. Like I've been trying to find game replays and I don't know where to find them other than online.
They do, but it's not at a reasonable hour.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like
It's like midnight. They start the replays.
And I was keeping track of the game on my phone during work and stuff, and just kind of trying to, they won 2-1 off of a penalty kick in the second half, and it sounds like it was a really entertaining game. I mean, I know that now they're into the knockout round, and that's when obviously it gets good. They play France on Friday.
Yeah, this should be a real good one with France.
Yep. So it sucks. Like that aspect of it sucks because yes, I would love to watch all of those games, like any of them, not just the American team. Like I enjoy World Cup soccer. I'm not a big MLS guy. I don't follow soccer hard and I don't know all the rules, but I do enjoy it. And I do agree with people when they say that soccer players are the most athletic athletes in the world. I mean, I think they get Jackie's not out here, so she can't give me the definitive rule. But I think you're only allowed like 2 or 3 substitutions.
3.
The whole game.
Well,
unless for injuries, I think is different or no.
No. But the half when they come off the field.
Right. Then you could sub people in.
Yeah, then you can have different people come out.
But we're talking about like
during
3
the
subs during the game when the
Yes.
clock is running.
Yes.
I met a Major League Soccer player yesterday.
And I was
Really?
getting ready to go to that story.
Yes. It was at my cousin lives in one of those like luxury apartment complexes. So every once in a while, you might see a Major League Soccer player or the wife of a famous Hollywood director. So about a month and a half ago, it was M. Night Shyamalan's wife that I saw was at the pool.
Oh wow.
And
She's one of the biggest alcohol pushers I know. When she gets bartends anywhere, you will get wasted.
And yesterday was a Major League Soccer player. We knew something was up. This is Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. And there's these 4 young people, early to mid-20s, 2 male, 2 female, playing. They were just sort of like hitting a volleyball around, like in the open grass next to the pool. And we could kind of tell they were speaking a different language. We weren't really paying attention, but the reason why they caught our eye is because they were all in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
And the men were wearing European style swimwear.
Okay.
It wasn't like full Speedo, but it was like, yeah, they're not from here.
Right.
And then, we'd had a lot to drink, so we started asking questions. And yeah, the one guy, I forget his name because it's soccer and who cares. But he's apparently a starter on the Philadelphia Union, 22 years old, and according to Google, makes a lot more than I did at 22.
If you get a chance to go down to see the Union play, I highly recommend it. They do a good job down there. The stadium's nice. Certainly considering where it is. The stadium's nice. The team is great. And they've been getting steadily improving over the past couple of years.
What's crazy is that like in the perfect case study for how alcohol just makes you not give a shit about anything at all whatsoever. Yeah. My cousin who lives there, he was like the only person like early on who got season tickets to see the Union play, and he wasn't a soccer fan at all. He just said, "Hey, this is something I'll throw money at. I'll watch.
It's cheap.
Some games.
It's cheap to go."
That day he's wearing a Union shirt. And he couldn't really care less about I'm thinking after the fact, well, he should have gotten the guy to sign the shirt.
Right.
He had the shirt right there, or something. But no, Shane's just chilling. He'd had a bit to drink and he's just hanging out.
Sounds cool though.
Yeah, it was cool. But you know what? Speaking of boring sports, I know you guys don't love baseball as much as me. And that's why, we don't talk a whole lot of baseball in here because we got to think about the people. Now, that being said,
I'm sure the people wish we talked about baseball more.
this is very interesting because we're going to talk a little bit right now about something we're going to be talking about extensively next week.
Uh-oh.
So, today on The Athletic, a big story. Right now, it's Tuesday. When this airs, it's going to be Wednesday. That's how time works.
Correct, yep.
So, it might not be a big story yet. And, I mean, I'm expecting this to blow up. But if you go on The Athletic, the name of the article is... I don't normally read athletic articles, so I don't know if normally the headers are this long, but it says, yes, the baseball is different. Again, an astrophysicist examines this year's baseball and breaks down the changes. So, astrophysicist Dr. Meredith Wills, she's going to be on our show next week talking about this article, which we all expect, like people that know anything about baseball and know about this article. We, as in me and Ryan Spader, authors of the great Incredible Baseball Stats.
Yes.
Available on theaceofspader.com. Go get it now. We think this is going to be a groundbreaking study. I don't want to get into the particulars yet because I'm just getting into it now. The article came out today. There's a lot to unpack here, but basically, she broke down the changes in the baseball over the years, and specifically this year.
As far as comparison. Stats and stuff, or
stats, how it's specifically constructed. She literally broke apart the baseballs in every possible way over the years. And there's so many aspects to it. It's not just, the roundness of the ball, the height of the stitches, how tightly it's wound. There's so many facets of this baseball that's different. Basically, the conclusion is that it was changed with a specific purpose to create more home runs, to create more offense. And right now, home runs are going out at an historic pace. And it's not just, that guys are hitting more home runs or further home runs or anything. It's like fly balls are becoming home runs. So it's changing the game in a way that maybe it's not naturally meant to be. So that's been a big, talking point in baseball in 2019.
It's very interesting.
Performance-enhancing baseballs.
Yeah.
CJ, you're a beautiful man. That's exactly what I was going to get to.
Wow.
So if you think about it, what's the difference between, a quote-unquote juiced player and a juiced baseball if it produces the same result?
Yeah.
That's why it's important. Because the juiced player, if, back in 1994, 95, if the commissioner, wanted to revive baseball, so he, turned around when players were, taking steroids, what's the difference between that and the commissioner of baseball maybe ordering the ball to be changed or looking the other way as it's changed to create more offense?
Wow.
Same result.
What if both are going on? A juice player hitting a juice ball.
I think, far more likely that it's just the juice balls scenario. I'm not exactly sure how the MLB steroid testing policy goes, but I'm sure it's like a second party thing that, Major League Baseball might not have complete 100% control over that part. But
they have complete control over baseballs, the actual ball itself, just like the NFL does.
Correct.
Right.
So, there's so much to unpack with this article. It would be too soon to get her on now and talk about this because it's like a peer-reviewed scientific research study. Have you ever read one of these things and it's so hard? You have to read the same paragraph over and over.
Yeah.
Unless you're smart. And, we're not.
Right.
We're not.
No, we're not.
Yourself.
We're not. No, dude, I've tried to read stuff like this, because I love space and different science things. And, you start reading it, and by the end of it, you're just like, I think I know what they're talking about.
Right.
But then you start talking about it to somebody else, and you're just like, shit, I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
So we're going to give this a week, and hopefully this story blows up as, we kind of expect it to. And it would be really cool if by next week she's like this big name in baseball, and she already said yes that she'd come on. So if she doesn't, then she's a liar.
And yeah.
Hey,
I agree.
We can't have that.
No, I agree.
So that's something to look forward to next week.
It's fantastic. That's good fun.
By the way, that's how much we have nothing to talk about today. We're already just teasing shit for next week.
All right, so I want that article sent to Neil deGrasse Tyson just to
confirm everything.
Confirm it, dumb it down, explain it.
Well, a week will give people a chance to refute that, for sure. But like I've always been interested in that because I know that they've changed it before, and I know there was a lot of talk during the postseason last season, right? I think people were talking about the balls and that pitchers were having trouble handling them and stuff like that. So like I've always been interested right. I've always been interested about that aspect of the game because that's the one variable that the players literally have no control over.
And it could explain not just, home runs going out on a larger scale, but also why some pitchers who normally dominate right now are not.
Right.
Guys like Aaron Nola, John Lester, Steve Matz for the Mets. These guys normally lights out guys, and for one reason or another, they're all healthy.
Right.
They're not performing up to expectations, and that could be, again, there's so many variables, but the stitches, the height of the stitches, all these things. There's a million different things.
The mud that they rub on the ball.
There's a bunch of stuff. And in this piece, she goes through every single one. And, I haven't broken it down, but basically her conclusion at the end says if any one was affected to the degree it is, that would be alarming. But the truth is, every single one collectively has been changed.
Wow.
So it's significant.
Huh.
It was changed. Basically, the only conclusion that could be gathered from all this is that it was intentional. It couldn't have been just an improvement on one particular process because there's multiple processes from multiple parts of the baseball. And every single one seemed to have been affected with one clear goal. That's creating a more aerodynamic ball for more home runs. Now, Major League Baseball says there's been some changes, but nothing of note.
Huh.
The numbers say otherwise.
Right.
This is something you can measure. So
it's very interesting. It's very interesting that she took the time to look into all that.
And I think that's Major League Baseball probably thought who would.
Right.
And the NFL gets into this situation all the time where they've handed out, fines and suspensions thinking, who's going to care? Who's going to see the Ray Rice video? It's not going to come out.
Right.
And then it comes out.
Right.
And they're like, oh, shit. The NFL, time and time again, have gotten themselves
everything with the
into
concussions and stuff.
Because they just think...
downplaying the severity of that stuff.
Yeah, no one's going to look.
Right.
No one's going to care. So this might be one of those things where MLB got their hand caught in the cookie jar.
Wow.
So...
very interesting
if
stuff.
we continued, and she's the expert, so she's going to be able to kind of, guide us through all this. And me and Spader had a call with her the other day, just going over the particulars and just, right before she published, and I was just blown away.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, hopefully, the article's doing well right now. So far I can see on Twitter, so we'll see how it gains momentum and see where it goes. But this time next week, we will have her on.
That's fantastic.
Looking forward to that.
Excellent. Great job, Kev. Who are we talking to this week?
We are talking to... That would be great if I had his name right off the bat, but I do not. Adam Burns, I believe is his name, from betonline.ag. We've had him on before.
Right.
He's... Man, I don't... You see, we're doing this for the second half, and we normally get all the specifics out of the way beforehand, but he works for them. He's kind of a big deal over there.
Yeah.
And he sort of creates all the bets and the lines and figures all that crap out.
Very knowledgeable. When we talked to him last time, he's definitely into everything. And we were talking the other night about some questions that we have for him. So
Yeah, and that was right around the Super Bowl. So we were asking him about, like,
Yep.
that's their biggest time, obviously. We're asking him about all the prop bets and kind of like the weird ones and basically how it all works. And I just thought it'd be cool to have him back on now when there's like nothing going on.
Right.
So what happens then? You got to
Right.
get creative. What are the big bets? So I know like tennis is big in the UK and all that over in Europe, and I wonder if that's a thing that carries over to them.
Right.
We were talking about Game of Thrones. Do they do like entertainment action?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
World Cup soccer.
yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Pete
Well-
Rose petition to get back in the Hall of Fame or get into the Hall of Fame.
Is that every year?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a new one. It just popped up.
I wanted to quickly talk about some NBA free agent, news, gossip, whatever. Nothing's really news until it starts and people sign. But there's reports that Houston is going to try and get Jimmy Butler. They're going to try really hard to get Jimmy Butler in some sort of a sign and trade deal with Philly. I don't know. I know that Philly can offer Jimmy Butler the most money, so we'll see what happens there. What else?
How would that work?
I don't know.
I wonder who
It would have to.
Houston has on their roster.
I heard something about that. There might have to be like a third party. Like it might have to be like some sort of multi-team deal to make the money work for Jimmy Butler to end up giving him the max.
See, NBA is too complicated.
It really gets crazy sometimes
Like-
with this free agency stuff.
The draft is hard enough, when so-and-so's picking 3 trades down the road, so-and-so's actually picking for so-and-so, and
Right.
Yeah.
And trading people like right in the middle of it or giving up the rights to or whatever
Yeah.
whatever they say.
no.
I mean, some 3-team trades are easy because you have 3 different motivations, but I don't see where these, I don't know what the third team would be, but Philly, they used to get involved in these trades because they wanted one thing, and that was like, assets down the road,
Mm-hmm.
draft picks, players maybe with a high salary, but 1 year left. That's not where they're at now.
Right.
So Philly's going to want talent back or assets down the road, but they're not going to give up talent to get that. So they want either assets or talent now, probably a combination of both. Houston kind of wants the same thing because they want Jimmy Butler.
Right.
The third team, I don't know what it would have to be a team that would want, I guess, just draft picks. I mean, you're going to have to find a very specific team because if they have the same kind of motivations as Philly and Houston, it's not going to work out.
Let me ask you this. If the 76ers lose Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris and get little to nothing back, is the process a failure?
But I was distracted because I think that's a great rap name, Lil to Nothing. LIL, the number 2,
To nothing?
and then NUTHIN. Lil to Nothing.
Actually, not bad.
Damn right it is. Can I claim that?
You can.
All right. Boom. Claimed. Now, what the hell did you say? Because I just totally thought of
What if
Lil to Nothing.
if the 76ers lose Jimmy Butler
Yes.
to free agency and Tobias Harris and get
Lil to Nothing back.
to nothing back, is the process a failure?
Well, no. They would say no because the 2 pieces are still there that matter the most. But the process takes 2 steps back because this was part of that process.
Right.
are we back into trust the process, or
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say you'd
basically.
have to be. You'd have to be back in trust the process mode if they lose Jimmy Butler and they lose Tobias Harris. I mean, because Tobias Harris wasn't all that electrifying this year, but I mean, he was approaching 18 points a game. Like, I think that he'd be better next year. Matter of fact, I forgot about this. I have a list they gave. They ranked the top 10 free agents in the league right now, based off of what they think their next 3 years is going to be production wise. Top of the list, Kawhi Leonard. Number 2, Kyrie Irving. 3, Jimmy Butler. 4, Kemba Walker. 5, Kevin Durant. 6, D'Angelo Russell. 7, Kristaps Porzingis. 8, excuse me, Chris Middleton. 9, Malcolm Brogdon. 10, Tobias Harris.
Okay. I mean, that sounds an awful lot like a fantasy draft sheet.
Yeah.
And then when the season plays out, it's totally goddamn different.
I'm kind of surprised that Klay Thompson isn't on this list. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's probably because, who was the guy with Utah? Then he went to Boston and got hurt.
Shit. Gordon Hayward?
Yes. They could be thinking it could be that kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same injury.
But then KD ends up in the top 5.
Man, did Hayward just fall off the face of the earth.
I've been hearing the term red shirt year for the Warriors next year, meaning that like what people are speculating is that the Warriors are going to retain KD and Klay Thompson at least until they're healthy. I've even heard that they're going to give KD a supermax deal with a trade out clause. So if he comes back healthy and wants to go somewhere else, then the Golden State Warriors are going to help him make that happen. I haven't heard the particulars of what they plan on doing with Klay Thompson, but I would assume that it'd be something like the same thing.
Kevin Durant, I think they're both going to get a max deal.
Yeah.
And it's because it's whatever team it is, they're going to create their own process. It's a unique process. Like where the Sixers went through it with like draft picks and intentionally being bad. You could draft Kevin Durant for the max 5 years, whatever it is, and know you won't have him for that first year. But what was the process all about? It wasn't about next year. It's about for 5 years down the road.
Right.
That's what they're doing it for. They're going to pay that money because, I mean, you still have to pay the salary.
Right.
So why not pay Kevin Durant max money? Some team has to pay a certain amount of money anyway. Where it gets weird is that if the Warriors do that, they're paying into the luxury tax. It's so much money to have him sit and do nothing. That seems like a big gamble.
Yeah.
Where for a team that's really trying to win now. And to throw away a year, basically throwing away a year of Steph Curry seems weird.
Right.
But I could literally probably name 25 other teams where it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Even if they go a little bit into the luxury tax, it still makes perfect sense because you're playing for 5 years down the road. And it's totally worth it to throw out one. But the Warriors are so good anyway.
Right. Right. They are. I've heard that Kawhi Leonard plans to meet with the Sixers. I doubt the Sixers are going to strike a deal with Kawhi Leonard, but that would be absolutely crazy if that happened.
And we kind of fell into this trap with LeBron James, where I don't know if you ever met with Philly, but
right.
there was some rumored interest that went back and forth. And I know, us as fans, we rationalized it like, this makes a lot of sense. An up-and-coming team, he's the veteran, stabilizes, still best player on the planet. These guys play around him. Boom, best team in the NBA. This Kawhi Leonard thing makes the same sense.
Yeah.
Put him on the Sixers right now, and then let's say they re-sign Tobias Harris, whatever it is.
Right.
Maybe Jimmy Butler, like either one of those guys. Best team in the NBA.
Absolutely. Hands down.
And even if you're concerned about Joel Embiid, you know that Kawhi Leonard can carry a team by himself.
Right. You just saw it happen. I think one thing in the Kawhi category, as far as like his chances coming to Philly, that kind of, I wanted somebody's opinion on. He said in an interview, I forget the exact quote, but he was like, I wasn't a Lakers fan growing up. I was an AI fan growing up. So like Allen Iverson is his favorite player. That's who he models his, himself over or whatever. It's not necessarily the way he plays the game. He's not that flamboyant, the spin moves and this and that and the crazy jukes and stuff. But
Well, that sounds like the answer to the question.
Would you take that? Would you take that into like if you were a free agent and the team that your favorite player growing up for was interested in you? Would you put that towards the good column? Like, would you consider that when you're making a decision?
I'll answer this question by letting Mike Trout answer the question.
Right.
Because he just said, it was today or yesterday, whatever it was, in an interview, and I'm sorry I don't have the interview up right now, didn't know we were going to talk about it, but he said to a reporter that the reason he considered going to Philly eventually, but he wants to live his life normally in Philly.
Right.
He wants to play in LA or wherever. He wants to be able to go back, and that can still be home, and it won't be corrupted.
Right.
You see right now with what Bryce Harper's doing, not great.
Right.
He's having an okay year. We've got 12 more years of this. If it doesn't go well, it's going to be bad for Bryce Harper in Philly.
Right.
So I get that. Like, obviously, Mike Trout's favorite players growing up are probably a long list of Phillies.
Right.
So I don't care who Kawhi Leonard's favorite player was.
Yeah. You don't think it's going to factor in?
He's factoring in his life in Philly.
Right. Right.
And I don't know. I mean, he had no control over being in San Antonio or Toronto.
Correct.
But those aren't, huge media outlets.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe he's averse to going to a big city.
Right.
But you got to factor that in too. He doesn't seem like a big personality.
I think he's either going to stay in Toronto or go to the Clippers. That's what I think. It'd be wonderful if he came to Philly, but I don't even know if that's a legitimate third option at this point, for him. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our special guest. We'll do some rapid fire and the go to the week.
So you've been listening to the Might Be News Network, but you still can't get enough each week? Become our patron on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/MBN Network to become a patron and get exclusive content now. For as little as $5 per month, you'll get access to extended episodes of all your favorite shows, as well as perks including MBN merch and monthly giveaways. Just want to support the network? Become a patron for as much or as little as you'd like. Patreon.com/MBN Network. 2 hours of bonus content each week guaranteed. Your contributions will help make the Might Be News Network bigger and better than ever before. Patreon.com/MBN Network.
Welcome back to Might Be Sports. With us on the Might Be Sports line, we got Adam Burns. He's a sports book manager at betonline.ag. You can find him on Twitter at betonlineburns. Adam, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Yourself?
Great, man. Thank you so much for being on. We talked to you during season 1 of our show here, and it was closer to the Super Bowl, and which is your guys' busiest time of the year over there at betonline.ag, correct?
Well, yeah. Obviously, the Super Bowl is the granddaddy of them all, as they say. But it never ends in this business, so there's stuff every day to bet on. But Super Bowl definitely is the king.
That's kind of what we wanted to talk to you about this week, is because we were talking about it earlier in this show that right now it kind of feels like it's just baseball. Like there's just baseball out there. Obviously, you have the Women's World Cup going on as well, tennis and stuff like that. But we were kind of curious as far as when basketball is done, when football is done, and it's the summertime, and it's just kind of this long stretch with just one major sport. How does that affect your job?
Well, it's twofold. Basically, I mean, the Women's World Cup is actually taking way more money than we expected, especially because the U.S. is still in it. And then you got stuff, there's golf, the majors, those sort of things take a lot of money. Wimbledon's coming up, so that will take a lot of money in tennis. But it's basically I always call it kind of like the summer grind, right? It's just baseball. All July and August is pretty much baseball. You got the odd golf tournament or NASCAR or whatever it may be, but it's sort of a grind, and it kind of gives our guys a little break as well. where they can take some time off, have some vacation time
Right.
before the NCAA and the NFL season start, when it gets pretty much you're working all day, every day. But yeah, it definitely tapers off. There's no doubt about that, especially after NBA ends, NHL ends. It's sort of like a kind of a downtime, but at the same time, like I said, there's always an event every week or something that will engage players.
Do you guys engage in any like entertainment type sports bets, or not sports bets, but bets like for example, a few weeks ago we were talking about it. Last time we talked to you, one of the things that you mentioned was the national anthem, and how it has to be sang a certain way. You guys pay out based off of when they say "Home of the Brave" the first time, or what, I forget what it was, but basically a specific note that they hit. That's what the bet is talking about. Did you guys take any like Game of Thrones bets or anything like that?
Well, Game of Thrones was probably one of our biggest entertainment bets.
Wow.
We had tons of stuff up for it. Of each episode we offered who will die first in that episode, who will be the first to die in the whole season, who will be the last to die in the whole season, who will be the first to talk in the whole season, who will be the last to talk in the whole season.
Wow.
And a lot of players really like this sort of stuff, and it gets kind of some new players onto the site just to explore it a little bit. Example, tomorrow is the Democratic debates for politics. And we have about 20 props up on all kinds of things. How many times will Trump tweet during the first debate, during the second debate? How many times will Biden be said? Will Joe Biden touch or hug any of the women candidates? So those are all up on the site, and that's sort of what I do a lot, is just we try to make it a little more fun for the player and for the client to come on the site and bet on these sort of things where a lot of other places don't let you do that.
Right.
That's so funny because it's interesting how it just, my dad says all the time, he'll bet casually, and he tells me, he does it not to really, make a lot of money or whatever, just to enjoy the sport he's watching more. And every year I have an NBA draft party, and I have a ton of people over my house that have no interest in the NBA draft, but we do these small bets. We'll do a bet like who is going to wear the craziest suit, who they thank first, if it's going to they thank God or their parents first. So that's exactly the kind of stuff that I love. Those bets that make something that might be a little monotonous as you're getting to pick 21 in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Try to spice it up a little bit and make it more interesting. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and we try to do that all the time with any sport or any event. We just put up yesterday, the Nathan's hot dog contest, like total hot dogs eaten and who's going to win and all that sort of stuff. And people like this sort of stuff, and it changes it from the daily just betting on a game or betting on who's going to win the Super Bowl or who's going to win the World Series. So we're always trying to look for ideas, and we encourage people to request it as well, whether it's my Twitter or through customer service or through Dave Mason's Twitter or through our Bet Online Twitter. People ask for stuff that's doable. I mean, obviously there's stuff that people request that you can't really do, but.
Right.
We're always open to pretty much any idea, and we have we come up with our own ideas as well. But we're pretty open to putting up stuff, and just to get people engaged and have fun and do stuff like that. Like you said, Game of Thrones, politics, national anthem. I mean, you name it, you can bet on it, basically.
Back to Game of Thrones a little bit, in reference to what I was talking about with the national anthem and how it has to be sang, and that's how it's paid out. Was any of your bets, like I saw people, most common question about Game of Thrones as it was ending was, who's going to sit on the Iron Throne? And spoiler alert, the Iron Throne gets melted away at the end. How would you pay that out? Like if one of your props was who's going to sit on the Iron Throne, would that have been just everybody loses?
No, we have the one problem. I've been doing this for a long time, so I've learned over the years that you have to put very clear notes in the bet.
Right.
Say like, it's whoever is sort of the sit on the Iron Throne or the king or queen at the end of Westeros or whatever it is. And we try to always make sure that we cover our bases. Now, sometimes there's going to be controversy, and it's happened before, but we always try to word it so that there is no controversy. But when you're doing these type of things, I mean, it's never going to be 100%. It's not like putting up a game line between the Patriots and the Steelers type of thing.
Right.
Whoever wins the game wins the game. So sometimes there's going to be controversy, but we deal with it in a pretty timely way, and we always try to cover our bases before. But yeah, sometimes there'll be a bit of controversy in those sort of things. Like who will die next in this episode of Game of Thrones. So one episode we added in the dragons, and one of the dragons actually was killed first. But then people call in and complain, say, no, it wasn't. Like, this person died first. We're like, no, but we offered the dragons, So you're going to deal with stuff like that all the time, but that's part of the business.
Right. What do you guys do? Any bets on Kevin Reevy's a big fan of Survivor? Do you guys ever do anything with
There's competition
shows, like reality kind of competition shows and stuff?
Yeah, we do. Actually, I was just watching America's Got Talent with my daughter. And, we'll put up stuff like that. I mean, some of them that are already predetermined, it's tough to do.
Yeah.
Now, people can argue, say, well, Game of Thrones is already predetermined, but, if someone wants to lose their job to make a couple bucks on what happens in Game of Thrones and spoiling it for everyone, then so be it. We're comfortable taking that money.
Mm-hmm.
No, but there's a good example. I think it was The Bachelorette. I don't know. I hate that show, but a couple years ago,
yeah.
And people were asking me, can we put up odds on this? I'm like, I already know who won because the girl lives in my city, and I know her, and she won, and and so I'm like, I'm not going to offer odds on this because I can't because it's predetermined,
right?
And it's the same thing with stuff like WWE. We offer pretty much all the pay-per-view events, but WWE and I know people think we have inside word or something. We don't really, but what I do know is I do know people that were wrestlers, and they say that right up until the fight starts, they can change it at the last minute just to make a better story.
Right.
So we're comfortable taking that action, and it takes pretty good money, and people love betting on that, right? Because it's something fun.
Right.
It's I'm actually betting on a wrestling match that's predetermined, so it's sort of a thing it's fun to do. It costs us a little risk, but we're willing to take that risk.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Just to end on a more traditional, sports note, we were wondering, with the football season coming up right now, unfortunately, we don't have our football expert with us right now, but who is the odds on? Who's leading the futures bets for this coming season? And has there been any big moves lately as, camp is sort of, getting started right now?
Well, Patriots are still the favorite, 6-1. Chiefs and Rams are 10-1, Saints 12, Bears 14. I actually dropped the Bears yesterday because they started taking some money. So I kind of adjusted a little bit. Those sort of teams are taking quite a bit of money.
Are the Browns taking a lot of money with all the additions they made?
The Browns were at the beginning, but it's sort of tapered off now. They're not really taking that much anymore. They're at 14-1. The Colts have been kind of a popular bet. I don't even know why, but at 14-1. But then there's some sleeper teams that you're seeing a little bit of money on. The long shot, the biggest long shots that are taking money are probably the Jets at 50-1. Maybe a little bit on the Lions at 66-1.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, the Patriots are still, they have an easy division. They're probably still going to be in the playoffs, probably still make the finals. Brady's and their team is probably getting towards the end of this, miraculous run.
Right.
But they're still bet very heavily, even though they're the favorite at 6-1.
So once Hard Knocks gets going, is that something that actually affects the betting, you start to see more bets come in for, this year you got the Oakland Raiders. Do you expect to see more bets come in for the Raiders as that show gets going?
Maybe a little bit. And the thing is with a team like the Raiders is there's a lot of Raiders fans like all across the country, right? So they're going to get bet no matter what. Them, the Cowboys, the Steelers, big name teams, like the Bears, teams that have fans all around the country. So you'll see a lot of people just betting on their favorite team. So they're not even really looking at, is their team actually good? They're just betting on their favorite team. So those kind of teams, even the Giants, they're sort of what I call the 49ers. Those are the sort of teams I call like they're public teams. Mm-hmm. People all around the country like those teams. So we're always, every year, without a doubt, going to see more money on those teams than the others, with the exception of Patriots, because they just always win.
Right.
So we're going to always see more money on those teams. So we adjust our odds according to that a tad, but we won't over adjust.
Adam, I have one more question for you, and then we'll let you go. I know that the NBA free agency is right around the corner. There's a lot of speculation on where some of these players are going to land. I personally am a huge Sixers fan, and I'm praying that they keep Jimmy Butler, at least Tobias Harris. But what are the odds telling you about Jimmy Butler? Where do you think he's going to end up?
To be honest, funny enough, tomorrow I'm reopening all these free agency odds. I think the last time we had them open, we had him the favorite to stay there.
To stay there.
I just saw pop up on my screen to stay there. But I'm going to reassess this all. And a lot of times when you do these free agency odds and people don't get it, it's like, we don't know, right?
Right.
We're just going based on a lot of times on what the media is saying, what social media is saying, because a lot of people will just bet on if some guy comes out and says, some big basketball reporter comes out and says, rumors are this guy's going to stay here. Like Leonard with Toronto, the rumor is this morning that he's going to stay in Toronto.
Right.
I just saw, as you were saying that, pop up on my screen that Klay Thompson's meeting with the Clippers tomorrow. So, we have to go off that as well, because people blindly will just bet whatever people tell them to bet.
Right.
So it's going to affect our odds, and we're going to have to adjust based on that. Now, a lot of times it's not true, and there's a lot of, BS behind it, but we have to respect kind of what the media says. And believe it or not, they affect a lot of times when you're doing those exotic type of odds and free agency odds or the next coach odds or whatnot. We have to respect kind of what they're saying.
That's excellent. Adam Burns from betonline.ag. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So that was Adam Burns from betonline.ag. Follow him on Twitter at betonlineburns. Very knowledgeable guy. Very awesome. That shit's great. I think it's great that they take all kinds of different entertainment bets too. I can't imagine, I'm sure that they come up with some crazy shit. Yeah, I'm sure they come up with some pretty crazy stuff to bet on. Let's do rapid fire quickly. We have about 14 minutes left here.
All right. Tiger Woods removed from wrongful death car crash lawsuit.
So this has been a developing story for quite some time. Certainly on this rapid fire segment. I think that they made the right decision. I don't think it should be anything. It should have anything to do with Tiger Woods.
To be honest, if I'm going to be totally honest about this, and you know what? I'm just going to put it all out there. Total honesty, 100%. I was sending a text and I didn't hear what you said. Could you repeat it?
Tiger Woods removed from wrongful death car crash lawsuit.
Yes. We talked about this?
We've talked about this 3 or 4 times.
Wow. I got to stop checking my text during the times we talk about Tiger Woods lawsuit stuff.
It hasn't been necessarily recently.
But he hit someone I feel like he hit someone with a golf cart.
Maybe 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, he had a server at his restaurant that apparently was overserved and died in a car crash.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he was named on the lawsuit with his girlfriend and the bar and the manager. And
it should be whoever was managing that place that night. It has nothing to do with Tiger Woods. If he wasn't even there, who cares?
Well, the parents are trying to say he should have known because...
No. No, they're trying to get millions and millions and millions.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Which I'm not saying that they shouldn't necessarily be entitled, certainly to be heard out, but like, no. Tiger Woods, no. Next.
Ric Flair drinking beer just 1 month after medical scare.
Yeah, I saw that. Not even just drinking beer. He was like shotgunning beer, I believe. Like just straight up chugging beer hard.
But you know
I
what?
didn't see that. He was chugging beer hard, but I didn't see any shotgunning beer.
Oh, okay.
If you're going to be alive and you're not going to live,
Right.
are you really living, man?
I mean,
That
hey,
was Ric Flair's argument. He goes, I'm fixed. I'm back. I have 25 more years.
wow.
See,
like,
he's
just
right
enjoy
about
yourself.
two of those.
Right. Yeah. He's fixed and he's back. Yeah.
You don't get the best of all worlds.
No, you
he can
don't.
do this. He can shotgun beers. He can do all that stuff.
Right.
That means he gets 5 years.
You're right.
Now, if he wants to go the other way, he'll get to 25. But
Right.
do you want a good 5, or do you want a kind of,
Well, they replaced his pacemaker, so he should be pretty good.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
Wow. Next.
Drake's dad, I won $300,000 betting on the Raptors.
No shit. Ugh.
So dumb.
It all makes me sick.
He's got to stop saying, well, you know what? He has to stop saying we when he's referring to the championship thing. But I mean, it's kind of, pot calling the kettle black when we call our teams we all the time on here. We try to not do that.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing. But he's on Instagram posting, he's putting his face on Michael Jordan's body, hugging the trophy.
Yes.
It's like, dude, you've been a fan of the Raptors for like 6 minutes.
I follow Robert Mathis he used to play for the Colts on Instagram, and he posted a picture today of Drake holding the trophy. It looked like he was just at his house hanging out with the fucking championship trophy. And the caption was something along the lines of like, I've seen more pictures of this guy with this trophy than I have the players from the Raptors. Like, what is going on? This guy wasn't at practice every day. He didn't do anything to win this championship but show up. I agree. Drake, go fuck yourself.
And wasn't he like a Clippers fan too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley rips LeVar Ball. Keep him off TV. He's an idiot.
I agree with that statement. However, I don't agree with what's happening with LeVar Ball. If you've listened to the show at all, you know that I just generally don't like the guy.
Me too.
But
we're going to agree, I think, 100% on this one. But
the whole situation with him on First Take, the show he was on, where, I'm sorry, Molly Quirm, is that her name?
Yeah, I'm not sure how
she pronounces her last. I'm not sure. Anyway, she said, "Let me change gears with you real quick," and he was like, "You can change gears with me anytime." And she said, "Whoa, let's just keep this professional." I didn't take that as any kind of sexual innuendo, any kind of nothing. Even the look on his face was just like, okay, next.
No, the look
next
on
question.
his face, he was trying to be slick.
I mean, he's always like that.
No,
though.
it was an ego thing. He was saying you could switch gears. I think he kind of took it as like, all right, well, let me switch gears with you. I think he kind of took that as a challenge. Like she needed to tell him specifically, get off this topic. We're moving to the next one. And he was on defense saying, you could switch gears with me anytime. I'm ready all the time to change topics.
Right.
That's where he was coming at.
Right.
And then when she took that step saying, oh, well, let's not go there. He was kind of taking, he didn't know what the hell she was talking about. He was like, let's go. Right. He said, let's go. Cause he didn't know what the hell she was talking about.
And now he's banned from what? He's banned from being on ESPN or something like that.
Yes.
And,
I strongly support this.
Well, listen, I don't like seeing him on TV. I think he's obnoxious and he has nothing of importance really to say.
Right.
But to ban him for this to me is kind of dumb, especially when a day ago a video was just uncovered. I think it was on ESPN where she's on set with Terrell Davis and a couple other people, and Terrell Davis is over here trying to explain a play or something. You know how like sometimes they have like the people in the studio run a play in the studio to kind of just show what they're doing or whatever. Right. Well, he's asking Molly to hike the ball to him. Meanwhile, she has a skirt on that you can almost see her ass hanging out of it. Like, fine. I don't care that she wears that, whatever. But Terrell Davis, that was 100 times worse. He was like, bend over and hike the ball to me.
Right.
And she was like, no, like, get away from my dress. And he was like He actually touched her. Like, I don't understand how you can take that, which they know happened. There's obviously video of it. And then take what LeVar Ball said and do what they did to him and not Terrell Davis.
Yeah,
I
we're being
I don't
way
get it.
too sensitive. And like, how about just let people be who they are? For
What was welcomed and what wasn't? Who wants LeVar Ball talking to him? Really?
Hey, I understand. But they had him on the show for a reason. And usually it's
and they won't again. And it's a great ratings move because I will watch ESPN now that I don't have to worry about seeing him.
Right. I don't know.
Well, you
don't know.
You can now watch ESPN because he's not going to be on there.
Yes.
You had like an ESPN LeVar Ball ban going on.
You know, I had to be ready to switch the channel.
He wasn't on TV for like a long time. I think the Lakers like really shut him up hard.
Well,
and now Lonzo plays for New Orleans and he's back. He's back on TV. I don't know how long that's going to last. Obviously, he's not going to be on ESPN anymore, but I think the whole thing is just kind of dumb. Next.
Zach Baggins adds a Love Ranch bed to collection. It's where Odom OD'd and owner died.
He's selling the bed that he OD'd on?
He bought the bed. He's on one of those Travel Channel show for his weird museum of haunted stuff and this and that. And it's a museum full of anything like that could be possessed or has evil spirits that could be around it, this and that.
Wow.
Is Zach Baggins is his name?
Yeah.
Zach Baggins.
So what is he, a hobbit?
Why do I feel like this is one of those situations you look up his Wikipedia page and it's like Zach Baggins, born Zach Markowitz. Like,
well, I mean, that's a TMZ photo of
Zach Baggins.
Wow. He looks like a Baggins.
He looks like a Zach D. Baggins. What's his middle name? Is it David? Zach D. Baggins?
Well, there's a
Zach
transition. So the transition is David Ortiz out of ICU, still in good condition.
Good.
Condition. Good.
Here we go.
Condition.
Here's a good one, and this will get Taylor started. 2019 NBA draft class couldn't ID Outcast in ESPN 90s challenge. All good with Good Burger, though.
Yeah, see, I can't support this.
I don't even know what that means.
So they come up with something to ask everyone that gets drafted, like, you know, some funny questions.
And they were asking these guys a lot about 90s.
Yeah, so it was 90s
culture.
challenge. So they asked them like 10 questions about, you know, photos, who's this from the 90s. Everyone got Keenan and Kel from Good Burger. Only one person got Andre 2000, which was the closest answer of who Outcast was when they showed the Outcast photo.
I think this is good for society, to be honest.
It's killing me inside. I can't support it, and until they start listening to Outcast, I can't cheer for them. Point blank. Period. At least
you don't want to listen to some Andre 2000?
At least give it a try.
At this time,
God damn it! First of all, if any of them got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, that's over. That's over. If you go to Atlanta, you have to listen to Outkast. No one will let you leave, like, be in Atlanta and not even know who they are. Get a fucking clue. Ugh.
This time next year, everyone's gonna know the name Lil to Nothing. And I'm gonna put an X at the end just because that's what's in right now.
So last one, it's not a TMZ headline, but I think it's still good. Cam Newton offers airline passenger $1,500 to switch seats, gets rejected in viral video.
Really? I didn't see this video. So he was trying to go? Where was he trying to go?
It was a transatlantic flight. I believe that they were coming from Europe, coming back to the U.S.
Okay.
So here's why I don't know anything about this story, but I know for a fact.
All right, I'll fill in the blanks.
Cam Newton's not flying coach. So this is one first-class passenger to another, which tells me $1,500 is not going to be enough for that other first-class passenger because it's a first-class passenger.
Right.
It looked more like business. It wasn't first class because there was still a section above them. So it wasn't first class. So maybe business class. Or Cam might have actually been flying coach.
Now we have to ask ourselves, what's going on with Cam Newton's bank account?
But so The guy asks, Cam goes, I'll give you $1,000 to switch seats with me. The guy goes, well, how tall are you? He goes, 6'6". He goes, well, I'm 6'4", and I want the extra leg room. He goes, well, I'll give you $1,500. The guy goes, well, it's me and my two buddies here, which is another reason I believe it's Coach, because he has two people sitting next to him.
Cam Newton's flying coach?
I think he might be flying business or coach. It's not first class.
It's so weird because then it's, if he's going to offer up that $1,500, this might have just been a case that's the only flight they could get.
Yeah, it might have been the only ticket that he could get at the time he needed, but I feel like he could have probably tried to upgrade.
Let's do go to the week quickly with no intro because we're running out of time. My go to the week this week is Megan Rapinoe from the U.S. women's soccer team.
Oh my God. Is it 2 weeks in a row you picking
Yeah.
soccer players?
Yeah, it is. She has been in the headlines recently for she's not kneeling during the national anthem, but she's not singing the national anthem, I guess, like everybody else is. She has knelt before. She's gotten scrutiny for it, but she continues to stand up for what she believes in, and she's also a really good player on the team. Having a great World Cup so far. So hats off to Megan Rapinoe.
Also said today, I am not going to the fucking White House.
She's not a fan, but also she does a lot of work with the whole lot of different organizations for minorities in the LGBT community, and very, very, very good stuff. Megan Rapinoe, my go to the week.
Well, I think she stinks. So there you go.
Of course you do.
My go to the week is a real athlete. I'm kidding. Okay? I'm kidding. I am kidding.
Kevin, what's your email address for hate mail?
No, what she's doing is
At 76pack on Twitter.
what they're doing over there is cute, and I respect it. It's
cute.
I'm kidding.
It's cute.
I'm kidding. No, it's awesome. I enjoyed.
This is Might Be Sports, the show where only dudes listen.
No, I really enjoyed the Women's World Cup last time.
Yeah.
Way more than the Men's World Cup last time because USA wasn't in it.
Yeah. They're just bad.
But I will say real quick, the Men's World Cup, before the last one, 5 years ago, whatever it was, pretty exciting because they were doing pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was kind of cool, but whatever. I don't care for soccer. So, we're talking baseball. It's really the only big thing going, and something I know a little bit about. And we talked about Mike Trout, so I figure perfect go to the week. Having a great week. June 19th to June 23rd, 5 games. He's batting .455, almost 500, 22 at bats, 10 hits, 2 home runs, OPS 1293 over those 5 games. And to just give you an idea, it's just so poetic. The Angels are 2-3 over those 5 games. That's just the way it goes.
Wow.
And you just think about if we could get that kind of production out of Bryce Harper, how things might be different.
Very good. Very good. Great job this week, guys. Special shout out to Adam Burns from betonline.ag. Make sure you go check that out. Great job this week, guys. CJ, Reevy, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll talk more with Andrew next week, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to that guest next week as well. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We are going to get into it. With how the baseball has changed. It's changing the sport itself.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for listening this week. I'm Taylor Cooper. We'll see you guys next time.